Okay, so I wanted to do a video about the Boss DS1. Obviously, you've probably heard of this pedal. It came out in 1978, and at the time, the kind of other big pedals coming out around this time would have been like the Ibanez Tube Screamer, which I think just shortly followed the DS1. Prior to this, a lot of the pedals built in the 60s were kind of fuzz-based, apparently. And it's a little bit weird to me to think that probably two of the most kind of famous pedals that you ever see, like an Ibanez Tube Screamer or a Boss DS1, to me, those are probably the two most common pedals that I've ever seen. I'd say the DS1 certainly doesn't get as much praise or as much use, as far as I can tell, as the Tube Screamer. Now, Tube Screamer circuits are still some of people's favourite stuff. So for instance, like the King Tone Duelist has a side which is based on a Tube Screamer. I know John Mayer celebrates the TS10, and that's something that plenty of people like to talk about, you know, and use, and they fetch good money and stuff like that. But in terms of Boss DS1s, I don't know that there's many people that clone them. I'll look this up and stuff, but certainly this is a pedal that probably most of us will own one of in our lives, and I think they're a little bit misunderstood. So that was the reason for kind of making this video. So this is a 40th anniversary one. We're now sort of getting close to 5 decades of the Boss DS1, but it's actually more versatile, I think, than people give it credit for. And if you look in the manual, I'll just find the manual, we have these setting samples. Let's try and I'm going to try and do clips of these kind of setting samples, because probably like most of us, we don't tend to read these manuals. But I think it'd be interesting to see how this thing actually sounds, and maybe you'll get something out of this if you've got a DS1 sitting on the shelf that you've not used in a while. Potentially you might think, I could give that a try. The reason that I bought this one was that I borrowed Tony's, he lives locally to me, he had a 40th anniversary DS1, and I plugged it into my California Tweed, and I really enjoyed the tones that I was getting out of it, so I thought, I'm going to try and grab one of those, and Johan found one in France for a good price, and he kindly sent it over to me. So let's just dig into some settings. So here's the clean tone. We're playing into a model of a deluxe reverb. And this is the sample setting for hard rock, apparently. This is the sample setting for British punk. This is the sample setting for crunch. This is the sample setting for mild and warm, according to the manual. Here's the sample setting for American rock. This sample setting is natural clip. This sample setting is fuzz, so it can turn the level down and the gain goes way up. The very last of the settings, there's 8 of these sample settings, is titled Fusion. Here's what this sounds like. I think you'll agree that's a fair range of tones that's available just from the sample settings in the manual, and for me I feel like the DS1 is certainly a pedal that I personally have overlooked for quite a while. I feel like this could be useful for almost anyone, and there's probably a good reason that it's one of the best selling well, probably is the best selling pedal ever, and maybe it's something that could sit on the shelf and you could crack it out, you know, for any number of reasons. And I think it definitely does a thing. Especially for me, what I like about it is when you've got this distortion set low. So with the distortion and the tone low, you can get these kind of thick tones that have plenty of bottom end. It works really nicely with single coil guitars. So yeah, maybe take another look at the Boss DS1 if you're one of those people like me who's kind of overlooked one for years and years. I think maybe there's something in it. I feel like it's one of those pedals. They're not expensive and there's plenty of reasons to like them, so maybe give one a shot. Give the DS1 another chance. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was a vaguely interesting video, potentially. If you wanted to like and subscribe, you could. And I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.